the leader in talk radio on the Internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 29security.com. That's the number 29security.com. 29security.com. Go to 29security.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Alright folks, this is Rick Robinson with you. I want to tell you about some friends of mine from a company called Security Enforcement Specialists. When I ran my security agency for 12 years, I worked with one of these partners on a daily basis. He's been involved in this agency now, and with his other partner, they do have over 30 years of experience in the private security industry. If you own a business and you need someone to keep you or your customers or residents safe, then I highly recommend contacting Security Enforcement Specialists today. Give them a call at 405-703-1796. Again, that's 405-703-1796. Again, tell them Rick from K98 Talk sent you. Like I said, if you need the help, they are here for you. So make sure that you go look them up, check them out, and see what they can do.
Wrong way. Welcome to the place. Welcome.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
To get up to like $68,000, my heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Wow. Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get started.
Prepare yourself.
Okay, let's go. From a studio deep in the heart of Texas.
You're not going to believe the garbage that fell out of his mouth.
The voice of the working man.
This clown had the audacity to say that.
It's the Gavin Mitchell Show.
It's not a race issue. It's a First Amendment issue, and we all just need to understand it.
And now, here's your host, Gavin Mitchell.
Happy Friday to one and all. It is April 1st, April Fool's Day, but we here on the right and the Gavin Mitchell Show refuse to let the liberal left and refuse to let the establishment make us fools. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Gavin Mitchell Show. I am Gavin Mitchell. Q1 for 2016 is in the bag. If you are a small business owner or one of the white-collar types, you know that this is a very busy time of year. You have my sympathy and my empathy as you try to close out the books. And for those hard-working small business owners, we are here for you. What a great show. We're going to try to have a little fun today. I think there is nobody better in the world than this guy Waters on the Bill O'Reilly Show. He has my kind of humor, and I love his bits. I've got a couple bits in segment 2 that hopefully it's funny. It's incredibly funny, but it's also incredibly scary that these are real people with real votes. But there are a couple segments that were on Fox News last night we're going to get to. But before we do, there is this Rule 40 that has jumped up and just dominated the headlines here of late. And Rule 40 is part of the rules that govern the Republican National Convention as they begin to choose a candidate. Now, this whole discussion is completely moot if a candidate comes in with the majority of the delegates already won and received. Like that's that number 1237. If Donald Trump reaches 1237, all of this is moot. The problem is it's becoming more and more of a reality that that's not going to happen. And so while these people haven't been involved and aren't familiar with the rules of a contested convention, experts are starting to pop up. People that know are starting to pop up. And they're saying, hey, remember this and understand that. And one of these that most people just didn't pay attention to is Rule 40. Now, here's the way it works. Every April of an election year, the RNC Rules Committee gets together and they amend the rules as they see fit. It's just part of the process. It's the way it works. And the way this thing has normally shaken out is as a candidate comes into convention, if they have the majority of the votes, if they've reached that required number of delegates, they just stay hands off as the Rules Committee decides what rules are going to govern the party for the next 4 years. Well, Mitt Romney didn't do that 4 years ago. In 2012, he actually came in and set a book on the table and said, look, these are the rules we're going to play by for the next 4 years. And he dictated to them that this is how it shakes out. One of these rules is Rule 40. And at the time, it appeared to be just a minor adjustment. But now it turns out to be incredibly huge as to how this thing is going to work. And the rule reads in part, in order to be eligible for the nomination, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit here, in order to be eligible for the nomination, a candidate has to win a majority of the delegates from at least 8 states. Now, that was changed from you have to have a plurality of 6 states to be eligible. So why would Mitt Romney do such a thing? Well, according to David Wheeler, a Rules Committee member, it was designed to prevent Ron Paul delegates and their votes from being counted. Mitt Romney was worried about Ron Paul, and so he raised the threshold to what appears to be this arbitrary number of a majority of delegates from 8 states. Well, that happened to be the magic number you needed to get rid of Ron Paul. And so that's why he did it. Now, here's the deal. This Rules Committee is going to meet here in a few weeks, and they're going to decide whether they should amend Rule 40 or not. Well, now, this is going to cause all kinds of waves no matter which direction they go. Why does it matter now? Because right now, as it stands, Donald Trump is the only one that has reached this requirement. Now, Ted Cruz has won 9 contests, but the majority of those were with a plurality, not a majority. And so he thinks he can get there. He thinks he can get to that 8-state majority threshold, but he hasn't done it yet. And Cruz and Trump are both screaming at the top of their lungs. We can't go and change the rules midstream, even though traditionally, and for many years past, this is when the rules are amended for the party. It's been inconsequential. But now that it matters, people are saying, oh, hold on. And once again, the dividing lines are being drawn over yet another issue. Here's why this matters a great deal, and I've alluded to it, but I'm just going to paint the full picture for you. This Rule 40 matters because right now, as it stands, if Ted Cruz's optimism comes into reality, then Ted Cruz and Donald Trump would be the only 2 candidates with a majority in 8 states, which means whether it's the first ballot, the second ballot, or the 100th ballot, the only people that can receive votes and ultimately become the nominee for the grand old party, Ted Cruz and Donald Trump. That's it. So, if you're the establishment, and the plan and all the suspicion all along was to parachute Mitt Romney or Jeb Bush or Paul Ryan into the convention and have them win the nominee, then this Rule 40 has to be changed. And so what you're seeing are these dividing lines here. You're seeing the Cruz camp and the Trump camp saying, oh, no. We started this game under these rules. We're going to finish this game under these rules. They do not want this changed at all. Meanwhile, the establishment, the only hope they have of parachuting in a candidate, and you can throw John Kasich into that list I just gave you, is to get this Rule 40 changed. Otherwise, it's moot. And John Kasich's very existence at this point in this race is hanging on this Rule 40 being changed, because if it is not changed, it doesn't matter what he does. Unless he receives the majority of delegates in 8 total states, then he's not eligible per the rules. And these rules are party rules. I get it. They're not law, but it's the party that nominates a candidate. This is the party's offering to the democratic process. They absolutely get to, they have, and they will continue to do it the way they want to do it. You can scream unfair at the top of your lungs, but if you are going to be the candidate of the Republican Party, you've got to play by the Republican Party rules. If not, there's the Democratic Party for you. You're welcome to start your own party, or you can run independently. None of those factors, there's nothing holding you back. But if you want to be a nominee of the Republican Party, this is the way it works. And this Rule 40 is turning into a huge deal. A huge deal. So much so that the great one, Mark Levin and Rush Limbaugh, have spent significant time on it the last couple of days, but it's really not that complicated to understand. In 2012, Mitt Romney was worried about Paul. And so he kind of hijacked this thing. He manipulated it a little bit. Nobody saw it as a big deal. It wasn't like Paul was going to win anyway. So nobody said anything. It was just kind of an under-the-table, slight tweak of the rules. Well, it stayed put, and now that it matters to the powers that be, they're kicking and wheeling. They want this rule changed, and this rule has to be changed. Otherwise, you can guarantee and take it to the bank, Ted Cruz or Donald Trump will be the Republican nominee. There won't be any other options. And if Ted Cruz doesn't end up winning the majority in 8 contests, then it doesn't matter. It is Donald Trump. He's the only one eligible per the rules. And so if you're a Donald Trump fan, you want nothing more than this rule to stay put. If you're a Ted Cruz fan, then the chances are you want this to stay put, because then and only then does it really become Trump versus Cruz. Until then, as long as this rule can be changed, they can manipulate this situation any way they want. Now let's take this hypothetical a step further. The delegates that are sent from each state, they can be whomever the state chooses. They don't have to be avid Trump supporters or avid Cruz supporters. And let me unpack this. If this rule doesn't change, and it turns out to be you have to choose between Trump or Cruz, we see the establishment getting in line with Ted Cruz. He's the best of the two evils according to them. That's what we're seeing. That's not my opinion. That's what's shaking out. And so there is absolutely nothing keeping these states at their convention saying, hey, you bleed Ted Cruz. You worship Ted Cruz. You're going to the convention. And even though you were obligated on that first ballot to vote for Donald Trump, the second ballot, it's up to you. If Donald Trump doesn't hit 1237, it's a free-for-all. And so there is absolutely nothing keeping these states from packing that convention with avid Cruz supporters. And on the second ballot, they go willy-nilly and vote as they see fit. Now, I gave the simplest scenario I could. Let's take it a step further. Maybe the establishment hijacks these state conventions and they pack this national convention with Paul Ryan supporters. And they do get Rule 40 changed. They have effectively railroaded the entire convention. And so I'm painting a lot of scenarios, and there's a lot of hypotheticals here. But understand this. If this Rule 40 gets changed, and it's going to, folks, I'm telling you right now it will. This whole thing is just, the balls are in the air. Nothing has landed, nothing has solidified. If they can get it to where anybody is eligible to be president of the United States, to be the nominee of the GOP for the president of the United States, then it's game on. If Rule 40 is not in place, and it was a tactical move by Mitt Romney, it was strategery, then the gloves are off, folks. Anything can happen at this convention, anything, and it all comes down to who the states send as the delegates. And it's just, the options are limitless here, and I have warned from the jump that we need to be careful as we proceed here. We need to make sure that the goal is to eliminate a liberal from being in the White House. We need to take the White House back as a conservative party. And if we let the establishment hijack this thing and do as they see fit, we are in a world of mess. A world of mess. Now, I will tell you this right now. No one running a state convention is going to admit or confess that they have hijacked the convention, that they have front-loaded it for candidate X, or they back-loaded it for candidate Y. No one's going to admit to that. But it is a very real possibility. And so I wanted to unpack that for you. There's been a lot of talk about it, but it's really not that difficult to understand. It really is that simple. And these rules are fluid. Every 4 years, they can be completely amended. They can be thrown out and rewritten. They are completely fluid. And it's all up to that rules committee. And everything the rules committee is saying is that this 8-state threshold is gone. And so if that changes, we might see some fisticuffs on the floor of the National Convention. Folks, don't go anywhere. In segment 2, as I promised, I think we're going to have a little laugh, but at the same time, we may get some shivers because these are real Americans with real votes. Hang tight. We're going to get to it on the other side.
The Gavin Mitchell Show.
The following message is brought to you by Health Markets, your first choice when you need health insurance for your small business. Do you offer health insurance to your employees? Call us now and see if you can save money. Do you want to offer vision and dental to your employees? Call us. Do you think you're paying too much for your current health insurance? Call us. Do you want somebody else to do all the legwork and search thousands of health plans from over 180 health insurance companies nationwide? Call us. We're Health Markets, and thanks to a little-known solution, we could help your business save thousands of dollars on health insurance costs and save your employees money, too. Our service is free. Don't miss the great savings. Call now.
800-470-8021. 800-470-8021. 800-470-8021. That's 800-470-8021.
Health Markets Insurance Agency is DBA of InSphere Insurance Solutions, Inc., licensed in all states. Product availability varies.
Are you tired of making payments to a security company that doesn't seem to have the same values as you and doesn't offer the most recent technology? American Defense Systems is a veteran-owned and operated security company specializing in home security and automation solutions to fit your lifestyle while keeping small business owners more connected to work while on the go. American Defense Systems makes practical recommendations for families to keep your home safe without trying to sell you a bunch of extra stuff. And for businesses, American Defense Systems wants to provide you with the comfort of knowing that your business is safe by allowing you the monitoring options you need without loading you up with too many extras. American Defense Systems' goal is to provide your home or business with an affordable and technically superior security and automation system. If you're not happy with your current security system or provider, set up a no-cost consultation today at AmericanDefenseSystems.com. That's AmericanDefenseSystems.com. American Defense Systems, proud to be a veteran-owned company.
Hey everybody, Gavin Mitchell from The Gavin Mitchell Show here. Of course you can find our show every week on our flagship station, News and Information, 570 AM KLIF, but sometimes once a week just isn't enough. I would encourage you to go out to our website, www.thegavinmitchellshow.com, and there you'll find a plethora of information about the show, including archived episodes of our daily podcast. You'll find a blog written by me and other conservative writers, and entertaining videos that are available with the Gavin Mitchell Experience. I would encourage you to follow us on Twitter at The GM Show. We are on Facebook, facebook.com/The Gavin Mitchell Show. And of course, we are on our flagship station for the internet, conservativeradionetwork.com, with the most talented conservative podcasters in the country. So be sure to tune in Saturdays at 8 p.m. right here on News and Information 570 AM KLIF, or through the week at conservativeradionetwork.com or www.thegavinmitchellshow.com.
Do you need residential or commercial roof repairs, maintenance, or replacement in the Dallas-Fort Worth area? J-Bow Roofing has over 35 years of experience in the industry, and they have the know-how to keep you dry and comfortable. J-Bow Roofing also offers a roofing system that is warranted against hail of any size, and this is a no-excuse warranty. J-Bow Roofing doesn't want their customers to cringe every time it hails. They want customers to have complete confidence that their roofing system is going to stand up to the task. Basically, J-Bow Roofing wants to stop the insanity, lifetime roofing period. Re-roof once and be done. A J-Bow roof product is aesthetically pleasing and tougher than anything you can find. A J-Bow roof is so nice your neighbors will want it. J-Bow lifetime roofing systems are strong as steel, tougher than hail, and guaranteed. So it'll be the last roof you put on your house. Looking for a price? Get a no-cost, no-obligation quote today at jabeau.com. That's jabeau.com. J-Bow Roofing. Your long-term satisfaction is their immediate goal.
Hey everybody, it's Chris Salcedo from the Blaze Radio Network. You are listening to The Gavin Mitchell Show.
So I listen to talk radio religiously. While I do my best to pull my weight here on the Gavin Mitchell Show and keep you informed and understand the conservative views, things of that nature, I'm still a huge fan of Rush Limbaugh, Mark Levin, Glenn Beck, and here locally, Chris Salcedo. I think they hung the moon. I just think they're incredibly brilliant men who are able to add 2 and 2. It just makes sense, this conservative movement we're a part of. But part of what you get in that are some of these ads. And I heard another one the other day saying that, well, call us and let's refinance your mortgage. Cash option refinance, but the rates are too low to say on TV. The lawyers will not let us, or on radio. The lawyers will not let us say these things on the radio. And let me tell you something, folks. Nothing gets me more upset than people deceiving other people. Nothing gets me more upset than companies taking advantage of hardworking people like you and me. It gets in my craw something fierce. And I have almost called some of these companies a time or two. If you listen to the KLIF show, you heard me talk about this. Guaranteed 9% backed by hard assets. You're not going to see this vehicle anywhere else. Well, what it is it's a construction loan. Why don't they just say it's a construction loan? Why is there this need for smoke screens? And I don't understand it. And I say all that to say this. My degrees are in finance. And I think it's incredibly serious and incredibly important that we get people we can trust to handle our finances, to handle our investments, because we can't all be experts in everything. And I'm telling you, as someone with some advanced degrees in the field, it's not always easy to understand. You really have to devote some time to learning this, and that's not time we all have. And so that's why I want to tell you about my buddy Daryl Petter. You know, we just talked about it in life. There's two areas, whether it's your medical history or your financial situation. Both of those are incredibly personal, and we hold them incredibly close to the vest. So when it comes to your health, you don't just go to any corner shop or Johnny-come-lately. You find the very best there is to treat whatever ailment you have. Why wouldn't you do the same with your financials? Daryl Petter has over 2 decades in the industry and has assembled the very best team he can find. Look, they won't just sell you anything you're willing to buy. They're going to sit down. They're going to ask you what your goals are. What is it you want to achieve? Whether it's putting your kids through college or transferring your wealth to the next generation with as little tax obligation as possible, Daryl's going to find you the right vehicle that gives you the very best chance to achieve those goals. No one has a crystal ball, and no one knows exactly what the future holds. But with over 2 decades of experience, Daryl and his team have seen plenty of ups and downs in the market. Daryl Petter and the guys at Petter Financial, they really are personal friends of mine. I was over there yesterday. These guys are awesome, and they handle all my financial service needs. So I encourage you. It doesn't matter where you're at. Daryl can get things done no matter where you live. Give Daryl a call today, 817-416-4346. That's 817-416-4346. And if for any reason you didn't get that number, email me. You know my email address, Gavin@thegavinmitchellshow.com. And I will put you in touch with Daryl, because I don't put my name on just anybody. I don't endorse just anybody, and I don't let these people just advertise on my show unless I know they are solid people that are going to take care of you. And so that is my promise to you, the listeners, that these people are on the up and up. Now, with all of that said, I had to vent, forgive me. Let's have a little fun. So it started out the other night when I'm watching Fox News, and I watch it religiously, and I understand they're really not any better than any of the others anymore. There was a time where I felt like they were unbiased, that they would shoot us straight. That's not the case anymore. Now it's questionable, but they still have the people I want to hear from. And so I listen, and I'm not talking about the show host or any of that. I'm talking about they get the candidates and they have the interviews that I want to hear. And so I tune into them. Really not interested in hearing what Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton says. That game's rigged. I've said it from the onset, that game is rigged. And I don't care. I don't understand how an educated person who thinks things through can end up on their side of the issue on just about any issue there is. I don't get it. Well, that's kind of the premise here. So they sent out a reporter to ask these people protesting Trump, hey, that's great. You have a First Amendment right to protest Donald Trump. We're all for it. Tell me why you're protesting Donald Trump. What issues is it that you have a problem with? And that's where the fun begins. This one's about a minute long. Buckle up. It's awesome.
Are you protesting Donald Trump? Yes. What's the policy that you object to? All of it.
Just like the things he says about women and like the racism.
Like what?
Too many. Yeah.
He does not support other races.
He's got too much money.
He has to be respectful to everyone, because we don't want that kind of people leader for our nation. I think that he is entirely un-American in the way that he goes about his politics.
He's very homophobic and he's racist, and he's just fear-mongering.
Are you working with a group? You've got a UAW sign right there.
Donald Trump has accused me of whatever. No, I do not. Yes, I am union. Union is standing.
With the way things are, I think Trump is gaining a lot of ground because he's...
I support Bernie Sanders 120%.
Oh my goodness. You can't make this stuff up. There wasn't one legitimate answer in the whole field. And but they believe wholeheartedly they're right, but they can't tell you why they're right. And welcome, if there was ever a window, ladies and gentlemen, that let you see into the world of the left, here it is. Here is that window. And this just runs parallel to what I've been saying the last 2 weeks. And for whatever reason, it has jumped up and become just relevant here in the last 2 weeks, that this is what the left does. They prey on people like that who can't think for themselves. They cannot put two and two together. They don't understand anything other than, oh, what about me? Well, I don't like him. Why? Well, he's got too much money. They just can't figure it out. And so the left, these leaders come in and they say, no, you know what? You're right. He does have too much money. We need to right this injustice. We need to right this wrong. Follow me. I'll take you to the promised land. And then they start throwing words out like universal health care and free college tuition. And people just cling to it like it's going out of style. Like it's the next best thing. This is the bee's knees right here, ladies and gentlemen. And so I think it's so fantastic that finally somebody has hit the nail on the head and exposed the left for what they are. There's just no two ways about it. Now, it doesn't stop there. This guy Waters, he's with the O'Reilly Factor. And I am a huge fan of this guy. He has my kind of humor. He's witty. He's quick. I could watch hours of this guy doing this over and over again. But I want to play for you. Now, this is about 4 minutes long, but folks, it is absolutely worth it. And I normally don't like running sound bites this long, but if it wasn't worth it and we weren't having fun on this Friday, we wouldn't do it. But here's Waters. He goes to the University of Oregon, probably one of the most liberal universities in the world. Ask people why they're pro-Bernie. He just wants to know. And here we go. So buckle up. It is fantastic.
Back in the book segment tonight, Senator Bernie Sanders running well ahead of Hillary Clinton in the New Hampshire polling, as we reported. And all of the country, old Bernie has captured the imaginations of some younger Americans. So we sent Waters out to the University of Oregon to explore the Sanders phenomenon.
So what year are you here? I'm a freshman at University of Oregon. Why aren't you at a toga party right now? So what's your major here?
Women and gender studies.
Ah, I studied women in college too. Why do you like Bernie?
He's a great congressman.
He's a senator.
He seems to have a lot of integrity, more so than Senator Clinton.
That's not saying much. What policies do you support of Bernie Sanders?
That's so hard to pinpoint.
Here we go again.
I think my favorite of his would probably be his healthcare policy. If you think healthcare is expensive now, wait till it's free.
I really like his redistribution of wealth policy.
How's Bernie going to accomplish all of these redistributive schemes?
Making it more efficient and not losing any... He would be able to put pressure on Congress to pass it.
Obama put pressure on Congress to pass his agenda, and they said no.
Definitely like the free education thing. That's always a plus.
How's Bernie going to make college free?
I believe he's taking taxes from... I can't remember.
I like her. I really like her.
I support his, I don't know.
Isn't it weird, though, when you have a kid and all your dreams and hopes just go right out the window?
I think Bernie Sanders provides, the most opportunities for underrepresented people, especially queer people.
You're not allowed to say queer. That's offensive.
Oh, I am queer, so...
Oh.
Remarkable.
What is Bernie going to do about the climate?
We need anything that we can get, and whatever he's willing to do.
I'm sorry, I can't understand a word that you're saying.
I like how he's proposing more of a revolution.
Are you a revolutionary?
Oh, I'm a revolutionary.
Don't overthrow me.
I won't.
Bernie wants to raise taxes on the wealthy big time.
Great. Sounds good with me.
Taxes.
Okay.
How am I going to afford to dress so nicely?
I would encourage thrift stores. That's where, I get most of my outfits.
That's a very interesting line of reasoning.
It's not fair to have people that are just filthy rich, you know?
Isn't being filthy rich the American dream?
Yeah, and I don't think that is anymore.
What would you like to see the top tax rate as?
50.
The government wastes all our money on pork and corruption now. Why should we give them more of our money?
What did you say?
Snap out of it!
Let's maybe, as a country, decide that we have better intentions to spend our money than on war.
If we don't fund the military, how are we going to kill ISIS?
I think the biggest way to defeat ISIS is to simply have a conversation.
What happens if ISIS beheads you at the negotiating table? Now, Bernie says he's a democratic socialist. What does that mean?
I definitely think that it's not as terrifying as everybody thinks it is.
I like that. I think we actually need more of that.
They tried socialism in Venezuela. Didn't really work that well there.
They have socialism in Sweden, and it's working out pretty well.
Did Sweden put a man on the moon?
No, but did any other nation?
Yeah, America.
Yes.
Nerd alert! Do you know who I am?
Fox News reporter.
I'm Waters, and this is my world right here.
I'm sorry?
Waters. Was there any reason that woman was dressed up like a bear?
She was protesting global warming. She was a polar bear, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, and the protesting global warming. Yeah.
And if you want to see the video, you can go to foxnews.com and find it. And yes, there literally was a lady dressed up as a polar bear to protest global warming. And you just can't make this stuff up, folks. And that's the sad reality, is that these kids each have a vote, and they're so anti-Trump or anti-Cruz or anti-right, but they can't tell you why. They're not educated in this. And this, folks, if you were wondering, when we say the liberal schools, how they're brainwashing these kids, these liberal institutions, this is exactly what we're talking about. They may go into business class and understand the time value of money. And they may go into theater class and learn stage right and stage left and different staging positions or whatever. But there's no real knowledge, no real wisdom being passed on. It's just this conveyor belt. And this is a direct charge at the educational system in this country. But they want more of the same. These kids do not realize just how ignorant they are. They're too ignorant to understand they're ignorant. And ignorance is just not being educated on a subject. It doesn't mean you don't have the intellectual capacity. This is a very serious issue. And granted, the University of Oregon is a liberal school, and it's no academic powerhouse, and I can say that because I'm the product of state schools. It's not an academic powerhouse. It's not like Harvard or Yale or Stanford, but if you look over there at the Ivy Leagues, what are we getting? We're not getting kids going to class and debating new and different ideas, and it's not the marketplace of knowledge. They're busy protesting because they don't have a safe place to go. And so whether you're at the University of Oregon or Harvard, it's the same garbage. And we wonder why our country's in the situation that it's in. We wonder how people like Barack Obama take office. There's your answer right there. Some of us go out there and we bust our rear ends to try to get educated on the facts. We make sure that we understand what that means and why, and we listen to talk radio and we follow the news. But our votes are just canceled out by people like this. Let it land on you where it will, but we all have a role to play. These kids need to get educated. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back on the other side.
The Gavin Mitchell Show.
Do you believe in conservative politics, common sense issues, and the U.S. Constitution? So does Matt Locke. Who is Matt Locke? Well, Matt's just a guy that believes, like many of you, that our country is headed in the wrong direction. If you feel the same, then go to Matt's new website, themattlockshow.com. Matt is a friend of the Gavin Mitchell Show, and he's a conservative podcaster and talk show host who will shoot you straight and provide information that is important to the conservative listener. You'll hear political commentary, news, and he'll discuss the current issues that will affect you during this election season. Listen to Matt's daily podcast anytime on his website at themattlockshow.com, spelled MATTLOCKE, or find his show on Spreaker.com and TuneIn.com. He's also syndicated on ICRN, the internet's new conservative radio network. Join Matt and his guest on the Matt Locke Show daily at 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Pacific on conservativeradionetwork.com, or listen to any of his 400 archive shows at any time on themattlockshow.com. The Matt Locke Show, all things conservative politics.
Hey everybody, your pal Gavin Mitchell here from my friends at Texas Elite Landscape. We all have that embarrassing spot in our yard we just can't seem to get grass to grow. Or perhaps you're tired of pumping hundreds and thousands of dollars into your yard just to get it to turn green when the weather warms up. Or maybe the constant maintenance is just too much to bear. Well, my friends at Texas Elite Landscaping are the most respected synthetic grass installation specialist in North Texas. Locally owned and operated, they have installed over 1 million square feet of the highest quality grass made right here in the USA. And I know what you're thinking. Is it pet and child friendly? You bet it is. So whether you want your yard looking picture perfect year round, no matter what the season is, or perhaps you'd like a putting green in the backyard to keep your husband home on Saturdays, give my friends at Texas Elite Landscaping a call today. 214-298-7726. That's 214-298-7726. Or find them at TexasEliteLandscaping.com.
Boy, man, I had a rough night's sleep. Boy, I got a letter from the IRS yesterday, and I just couldn't sleep. Man, I'm dying here. Somebody help me.
IRS problems affect more than just your finances. If you're ready to take back control of your life and you owe more than $10,000, you need to call the Tax Doctor. Their expert staff can immediately protect you from the IRS and state collectors and get you the best possible tax settlement guaranteed. The IRS has recently released new programs geared in helping struggling taxpayers, where you may qualify to settle your tax debt and wipe out up to 85% or more of what you currently owe. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, call the Tax Doctor right now. See if you qualify to pay less. 800-631-9123. 800-631-9123. 800-631-9123. Again, 800-631-9123.
Are you tired of making payments to a security company that doesn't seem to have the same values as you and doesn't offer the most recent technology? American Defense Systems is a veteran-owned and operated security company specializing in home security and automation solutions to fit your lifestyle while keeping small business owners more connected to work while on the go. American Defense Systems makes practical recommendations for families to keep your home safe without trying to sell you a bunch of extra stuff. And for businesses, American Defense Systems wants to provide you with the company comfort of knowing that your business is safe by allowing you the monitoring options you need without loading you up with too many extras. American Defense Systems' goal is to provide your home or business with an affordable and technically superior security and automation system. If you're not happy with your current security system or provider, set up a no-cost consultation today at AmericanDefenseSystems.com. That's AmericanDefenseSystems.com. American Defense Systems, proud to be a veteran-owned company.
The Gavin Mitchell Show, the podcast, is brought to you by Pinnacle Voice Studios and Sound Productions. Find us on the web at pinnaclevoice.com.
I want to remind you, you can find us on the web, www.thegavinmitchellshow.com. You can email me, Gavin at thegavinmitchellshow.com. In fact, I have an email from a listener that we're going to get to right now. Twitter at The GM Show. Facebook, facebook.com/The Gavin Mitchell Show. Would love a follow, would love a like. On demand, iTunes, Spreaker, tune in as well. If you have not followed us on Spreaker, we are begging for that follow. If you have an account, just search The Gavin Mitchell Show. Click follow. It would mean the world to us. If you do not have an account, it does take a second, but we would love it if you would just take a second, create that account. It doesn't cost a dime. Click follow. We're trying to get to that magic number of 100 followers so that we can qualify to get the show on iHeartMedia. That would be a big success for us. We are on conservativeradionetwork.com every weekday, 5 p.m. Central. You can find us on News and Information, KLIF 570 AM in the Dallas market, Saturday nights, 8 p.m. That is a live show. Feel free to call in. If you're outside the Dallas market, if you'll just tune into conservativeradionetwork.com, they carry the Saturday night show live as well. Many places to get us. Again, if that was an overload of information, you can find us at thegavinmitchellshow.com, and all that information is there. So I told you I got an email from a listener, and I'm not going to say his name because I didn't ask permission to read it, but it's one that really struck home to me because I've told you, my occupation is in construction. I am a blue-collar guy through and through, and I understand what it's like to come home dirty and sore and not be able to work because it's raining. I've been there. I've done that. It's what I do now. And so I got this letter in response to something we had said yesterday about the need for training. And while that's a little off topic of what we were talking about yesterday, I feel like this is an incredibly valid point and worth mentioning from somebody who's been there and done that, and it ties into what I want to get to in this segment. So he writes me, and he says, look, the big problem here are these employers hiring illegal aliens, and that is 100% the truth. He was an electrician for over 10 years and worked his way up from making $8 an hour to the very top, making $25, $30 an hour. I would assume that he got all the licensures he's needed to be an electrician and was able to pull his weight and walk into any job and get it done without needing somebody to supervise or monitor. And so he worked his way up to $25, $30 an hour, which if you understood the hurdles that electricians have to go through to become a master electrician, to get to that point where you no longer have to be supervised, you can run any job. It is a long road to hoe, folks. And it takes some time, it takes investment, it takes study. You become a master of your craft. And so $25 to $30 an hour, while it's not a bad living, I would even argue that's underpaid. But now he's telling me that in today's market, he would be lucky to make $16 an hour, and that's if and only if he's bilingual so that he can communicate to the illegal aliens that are out there. Because the way the world works with electricians, and it's a lot like plumbers, as long as you have somebody's license to work under, you can do the work. As long as they'll sign off saying, yes, I supervise this, it's legitimate, it's good, then they're good to go. So what these guys will do is they will go and get all the licensures they need, whether it's in the plumbing world, whether it's in the landscaping world, whether it's in the HVAC world or as an electrician, and then they'll hire all these illegal aliens that'll work for pennies on the dollar. And it leaves guys like this listener out there begging to make $16 an hour, but he's got everything he needs to be on top of the world. The problem is the illegal aliens. And I have said it and I have screamed it time and time again. That is one of the huge problems here. But people don't listen. Well, apparently the Ivy League kids who need safe zones have decided that, and this may or may not be an Ivy League school. If it is, it's a second-rate Ivy League school, but it's still a great institution for learning. The Dartmouth Coalition for Immigration Reform, Equality, and Dreamers. They go by co-fired. They need to be fired. It's a Dartmouth student group is what it is. And they have been pressing for change, declared the move a victory for their cause, and caused on additional institutions to cease using the term illegal and describe illegal immigrants. Well, what happened? Well, they petitioned the Library of Congress, and the Library of Congress is dropping the term illegal alien and alien from its subject headings after this group petitioned the American Library Association. Instead, they are going to use terms like non-citizen and unauthorized immigration because it makes them, it dehumanizes them, is what they said. Well, it's way past time that we all recognize that referring to immigrants as illegal is an offensive, dehumanizing term, and that there is no excuse to continue using it. Well, sir, I would say yes. It is offensive, and it should be offensive because they have come to our workplace illegally and stolen our jobs. Do you want us to give them a round of applause and run them a glass of sweet tea? Absolutely not. Just like this listener, they are stealing food off his kid's table. He cannot provide for the family the way he would otherwise if these illegal aliens were not here stealing work. And you're worried that we're hurting their feelings? They're taking food off our table. Are you kidding me? This is what they have to do at Dartmouth? What a joke. And the fact that this government, this Obama administration and the Library administration just caves in and says, yeah, you know what? We agree. It's offensive. It's all about feelings and not about facts. And that's disgusting. Well, it doesn't stop here. Our buddy the Hamburglar out there with Facebook, Zuckerberg or whatever his name is, his little group, forward.org, is at it again. They went ahead and published this 3-minute video making aliens, illegal aliens, the victims of the Republican movement and the conservative movement to take back this country and say, you're welcome here. You are absolutely welcome in this country, but you're going to come over the right way, and you're going to do it legally, and you're going to do it peacefully. Here's what this moron had to say in his 3-minute clip that they throw out to the world to once again make these people the victims so they can stay in power.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists.
It sounds to me like Republicans think Latinos are criminals and rapists.
I have never supported legalization, and I do not intend to support legalization.
It sounds to me like Republicans think this country will be better off without us.
You're rounding them all up.
We're rounding them up in a very humane way. And you're going to have a deportation force, and you're going to do it humanely.
Sounds to me like Republicans want to go door by door and tear my family apart.
Would you round up 12 million illegal aliens?
Yes, we should deport them. We should build a wall. We should triple the border patrol.
It sounds to me like Republicans just don't want us here.
Although they aren't official Republican positions, when Donald Trump and Ted Cruz say stuff like this, it's heard by Latino voters as hostility from the Republican Party. And recent polls show it is severely damaging the Republican Party's brand. In 2012, only 18% of Latino voters thought Mr. Romney was hostile toward Hispanic voters. By November 2015, the number who thought that had jumped to 45%. Today, only 14% of Latino voters are sure they would support any Republican for president.
I think it could damage the Republican Party for decades to come to be associated with this approach.
And the impact of Donald Trump and Ted Cruz is amplified by a barrage of negative coverage in the Hispanic media.
Trump gets earful in Spanish as Latino outlets air disdain. And I'm just saying, what does that mean?
It is very dangerous that a presidential candidate
speaks like Mr. Donald Trump. This is really creating a terrible backlash.
The Republican National Committee knows this is a problem. Their own analysis after the 2012 election said, if Hispanic Americans hear that the GOP doesn't want them in the United States, they won't pay attention to our next sentence. It's a lesson learned from history. In 1994, California Governor Pete Wilson launched a crusade attacking undocumented workers, just like Trump. And Pete Wilson's attacks on Latinos had an unintended consequence. Inert Hispanic citizens woke up and became registered voters. The same thing is happening today. They call it the Trump effect, a spike in new voter registration among Latinos upset by his rhetoric. The Trump effect is accelerating a long-term trend that projects the share of Latino voters to double by 2030. The bottom line? The hostility toward Latinos is turning more and more Latinos into Democratic voters, and that will have a lasting impact.
It sounds to us like this is the Republican Party. If it's not, this needs to stop.
Learn more at forwardus.com/Trump effect.
More propaganda from the left to convince and brainwash people. By the way, Ron, we're going to scrub that third break. We just don't have time for it. I hate that we only have an hour each day. I want to break this down. And it's exactly what everybody's been screaming. The Trump effect means, if you heard it, it came from the left. It came from the Hamburglers people at forward.org. That by saying you don't want illegal aliens here and they have to follow the rules, you are effectively creating Democratic voters. Isn't that exactly what we've been saying the entire time? And it cracks me up that they talk about attacks on Latinos. Isn't Ted Cruz Latino? Isn't he Cuban? Or is it just me? He absolutely is. This isn't a racial issue. This isn't whites versus Latinos. This is law-abiding versus not. And they even make it clear, although this is not an official Republican position. So it's not on the platform of the GOP. No, it's not. It's for those that believe in the rule of law. And I gave you an example of a listener who wrote me who has seen the effect of this firsthand. I have seen it firsthand. We don't just make these things up. It is very real that these people come over illegally. It's not that they got in line and processed the papers and did it the right way, the way my ancestors did, the way your ancestors did. We are a country of immigrants, of legal immigrants. And I don't care that I hurt their feelings when I know they are out there stealing food off my table, stealing food off my listeners' table. And you want me to be empathetic to them? Not a chance. What about all the crime we've seen? Everybody focuses on the crime, and rightfully so. You talk about Kate's Law and all that's gone on with illegal immigrants. I don't feel sorry for them because they have chosen to take the risk. They have chosen to gamble and come over illegally, and now we're worried about hurting their feelings. Now we're claiming, oh, well, you got to be careful if you're on the right, because if you continue to take this stance, they're going to turn into Democratic voters. They're turning into Democratic voters anyway because Hillary Clinton's out there offering them another carrot. Well, sure, they should have access to Obamacare. You bet we should have amnesty. That's the position of the left. Because if they coddle these illegal immigrants, if they bring them in and they give them amnesty, they get voters. The problem is they've just cheated everybody else in line. What about all the money they have cost us, not only as a nation, but as small businesses, as hard workers? We don't discuss any of that. What about the crime rates? We have these sanctuary cities to this day. If this president is so concerned about gun control and saving American lives, then shut down the sanctuary cities. We read the statistics on this show just the other day. They are alarming, the amount of illegal immigrants that kill people in this country, the amount of illegal immigrants that create violent crimes. The numbers are staggering. And so if this administration really cares about the safety of its citizens, shut down those sanctuary cities. Well, how do you do that? You do it by defunding them. You quit giving them federal aid until they choose to follow federal law and deport illegal aliens. It is a choice they have made, and there are zero consequences for not following the law. So tell me this. Why is it that illegal aliens don't have to follow the law? The cities don't have to follow the law by deporting them, but you and I, you bet we do. We absolutely have to follow the law, and if we don't, there are consequences for it. You want to know what our problem is here on the right with this garbage? It's exactly that. It's the double standard. It's the hypocrisy. It's the making these people victims when they're the ones victimizing us. I'll let it land on you where it will. It makes perfect sense to me. I think it makes perfect sense to you, and I know that this listener that wrote me isn't the only one that has felt the effect of this nonsense. I know there are many more out there. But that's going to do it for this week, folks. Catch us on the radio this weekend. In the words of the great Ray Wiley Hubbard, on the days I keep my gratitude higher than my expectations, well, I have really good days. We'll see you Monday. I'm Gavin Mitchell. This has been The Gavin Mitchell Show.
Thanks for listening to The Gavin Mitchell Show, the voice of the working man, produced in Fort Worth, Texas. If you like what you just heard, subscribe on iTunes and Spreaker.com. These and other links can be found on our website at thegavinmitchellshow.com. Be sure to tell your friends and colleagues about the Voice of the Working Man's daily podcast. Join us tomorrow for another edition of The Gavin Mitchell Show. All opinions expressed by the host or guests on this series are solely their opinions and do not reflect the views, policies, or positions of The Gavin Mitchell Show or its affiliates. This has been a Ron Phillips, Pinnacle Voice Studios production.